So imagine a highly realistic, just incredibly damaging audio clip of your teenager saying something horrific. And it spreads through their entire school in like 10 minutes.
Which is terrifyingly fast.
Right. And now imagine you have to sit in the principal's office and somehow prove it never actually happened. I mean, welcome to the new era of safeguarding.
Yeah, the burden of proof has entirely shifted, hasn't it? We're looking at this landscape where the fundamental baseline of truth, seeing or hearing something with your own eyes and ears, that is just no longer a reliable metric for reality.
And that profound shift in reality is what's driving an urgent change in how frontline professionals are being trained right now. So today we're doing a deep dive into the concepts driving the Safeguarding Conversations initiative,
Yes.
which, for those who don't know, is a project spearheaded by Wigan Training Limited. They're an independent provider out in Greater Manchester, and they deliver practical training and professional development to schools, charities, community organizations, things like that.
Right. And they're tackling the direct collision between generative AI, deepfakes, and child protection, which is, frankly, one of the most pressing issues we have right now.
It really is. It's like navigating AI with kids right now feels like giving them the keys to a Ferrari before they've even learned how to ride a tricycle, you know?
That is a perfect way to put it. The power is immense.
Yeah.
But the safety infrastructure just isn't there yet. Yeah. And what really stands out about the Wigan training framework is their pivot away from this purely technological arms race.
Right.
They're approaching this not as an IT problem that we can just solve with better firewalls or filters, but as a fundamental human safeguarding challenge, one that requires a completely updated set of professional instincts.
Because the old instincts just don't apply anymore.
Exactly. The goal here is to build evidence-informed awareness for designated safeguarding leads, teachers, parents, and to do it without leaning into sensationalism. We don't want to create panic.
Wait, and I have to push back here for a second. Isn't we panic exactly like this when video games and smartphones came out?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we always assume the newest technology is going to break the next generation. People thought televisions would rot our brains. So why is this AI shift actually any different from the moral panic we already survived over, say, violent video games or early social media?
That is a really fair question, and it's one a lot of people are asking. With a video game or a social media platform, the concern was always about the psychological effect of the medium itself.
Right, like screen time or desensitization.
Exactly. But you always knew the medium was artificial. You knew you were playing a game. You knew you were looking at a highly curated, filtered feed on Instagram. Generative AI is different because it attacks the very concept of evidence itself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it isn't just a new medium. It's a technology that completely erodes the dividing line between genuine material and manipulated media. The realism is what makes this unprecedented.
So it's not just like a faster and better version of Photoshop. Far from it. And that's a really crucial distinction to make. I mean, Photoshop requires skill, right? It takes time, manual manipulation of pixels. And because a human is manually altering the image, they almost always leave traces.
Like weird lighting or?
Weird lighting, strange pixelation around the edges, unnatural shadows, things you can spot if you look closely. But generative AI models, specifically diffusion models, they work by mathematically understanding the relationship between text and images from literally billions of examples.
Right.
So when someone types a malicious prompt into an AI generator, the software isn't just cutting and pasting a face onto a different body.
Wow, okay.
It is generating an entirely new image, pixel by pixel, based on statistical probabilities of what that specific image should look like in reality.
So it's forging reality from scratch.
Yes. Think about trying to spot a forged signature on a physical paper contract. In the past, forensic experts would look for the hesitation marks in the pen stroke.
Oh, right, because the forger is like tracing it slowly.
Exactly. Or they'd look for the unnatural pressure of the ink on the paper. They were looking for human error. But generative AI is like a machine that chemically replicates the ink perfectly and applies it with the exact mathematical pressure of the original author.
That is wild.
You can't just look at the ink to find the fake anymore. You have to look at the context of the letter itself.
Wow. That totally explains why the visual cues we used to rely on to spot a fake are practically vanishing, like the extra fingers or weird teeth we saw last year.
Yeah, those are getting ironed out so fast.
The technology isn't just editing, it's synthesizing. And the accessibility of this is staggering. I mean, this isn't happening in locked university labs anymore.
No, not at all.
Anyone with a smartphone essentially has a state-of-the-art generative AI studio in their pocket. They are completely capable of generating highly realistic images, videos, voices, and digital content while sitting on the bus.
And that accessibility is exactly why frontline professionals are encountering a massive, unprecedented spike in specific threats right now. According to the Wigan training brief, we are seeing a rapid rise in deepfake images, AI-generated sexual imagery, and just highly sophisticated forms of online exploitation and harassment.
Let's talk about the mechanics of that harassment for a minute, because kids bullying each other is unfortunately as old as time.
Sadly, yes.
But when you introduce synthetic media into a young person's social ecosystem, it seems like the scale of reputation damage operates on a completely different axis.
It absolutely does. Let's compare it. A rumor in the cafeteria relies on human transmission. It relies on memory, subjective interpretation. It degrades over time.
Right, the old game of telephone.
Exactly. But a highly realistic synthetic image or cloned audio file, that drops directly into a digital ecosystem that is quite literally designed for instantaneous viral sharing.
Yeah, it moves at the speed of light.
And the harassment becomes a tangible digital artifact.
Yeah.
It can be viewed, saved, screenshotted, and redistributed indefinitely. It never goes away.
Which isolates the victim completely. Because their own community, their friends, their teachers, they can't distinguish the fake artifact from reality. So the victim is forced into this terrible defensive position where they have to prove a negative.
Yes.
They have to somehow prove the image isn't them. How do you even do that?
You often can't.
Yeah.
And this exposes the massive gap in our current safeguarding procedures. Most existing school or organizational policies, they were built for the rumors in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Or at best, they were built for the early days of cyberbullying, where the harassment was text-based.
Like mean comments on a post.
Exactly. Old policies rely heavily on establishing empirical facts. Who said what, who took the photo, what exact time was it posted. But when the photo itself is a synthetic fabrication, the traditional investigation just stalls out.
It's like schools spent years building this state-of-the-art security fence, right? And AI just handed everyone a jetpack. The old rules don't cover the new reality at all.
That is a great analogy. The fence is useless against the jetpack.
And I can see a school administration immediately panicking and looking for a technological Band-Aid. They probably think, oh, we just need to buy an AI detection software for the school network and that'll solve it.
Oh, they definitely do think that.
Mm-hmm.
But relying on detection software is a losing battle. The architecture of AI development makes it fundamentally impossible to win that way.
Why is that? I mean, shouldn't AI be able to catch AI?
Well, many of these systems use what are called generative adversarial networks. Without getting too deep into the code, you essentially have two AIs fighting each other. One generates the fake image, and the other one tries to detect if it's fake.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right, so the moment a company releases a tool that can detect an AI image, the AI generator literally uses that very detection tool to learn how to bypass it.
So the detector actually makes the generator stronger.
Yes. It's an endless adversarial loop. So if your school policy requires proving an image is fake using detection software before taking disciplinary action against the sender, your policy is already broken.
Because the security fence is teaching the intruders how to fly over it.
Exactly.
Okay, so if the tech is bypassing the perimeter and detection software is basically a dead end, what does this practically mean for the adults in the room?
This is where we get into the core of the Wigan training mission.
Right, because the intended audience for this kind of awareness, it includes youth workers, early help practitioners, teachers, parents. And if I am a youth worker or, say, a history teacher, I don't know how to code an AI. I barely understand the settings on my own smart thermostat, right?
Most of us don't.
How am I supposed to exercise, quote-unquote, professional judgment over a technology that is actively designed to deceive me?
And that feeling, that exact feeling of technical paralysis is what leaves so many adults frozen into crisis. But a safeguarding-focused response bypasses the technical forensic analysis entirely. You do not need to be a software engineer to support a child experiencing harassment or reputation damage.
Okay, let's walk through what that actually looks like in practice, because I think people need a concrete example. Give me a scenario.
Okay, so a student comes to a teacher in severe distress because a humiliating, seemingly very real photo of them is circulating among their classmates.
Okay.
A technically focused response, a wrong response, would involve the teacher trying to analyze the pixels. Maybe they try searching for a free online AI detector, they upload the image, they get a mixed or inconclusive result.
Which happens a lot.
It does. And then the teacher freezes because they cannot firmly establish the empirical facts of the image's origin. They don't know what to do next.
Which leaves the victim totally unsupported while the adults play amateur forensics. That sounds like a nightmare for the kid.
Precisely. A safeguarding-focused response, however, applies professional judgment to the human behavior, not the digital file.
The human behavior.
Yes. The teacher looks at the situation and says, this image is causing severe emotional distress. Someone in our school community created or shared this with malicious intent. The safeguarding response targets that intent to harm and the resulting trauma. The malice is real, the shame is real, even if the pixels aren't.
Oh, I love that. The malice is real even if the pixels aren't, so you manage the human impact. The focus shifts entirely from, is this image real, to, is this child safe, and how do we address the behavior of the person who is weaponizing this content?
That shift is the entire core of adapting to this new landscape. It empowers adults to use the empathetic and investigative skills they already possess. They know how to handle bullying.
Right, they've been doing it for decades.
Exactly. It's about early intervention and creating a culture where young people feel safe reporting something bizarre or fabricated without fear of their devices being confiscated or their reality being questioned by the adults.
That makes a lot of sense. So for a school or a youth organization listening right now, what is a specific, actionable policy change they need to make immediately to reflect this shift?
Schools must immediately update their behavior and anti-bullying policies to explicitly include terms like synthetic media and AI-generated content.
You just get it right there in the handbook.
That's in the Code of Conduct. They need to state clearly that the creation, request, or distribution of manipulated media designed to harm, harass, or exploit that will be treated with the exact same severity as physical bullying or the distribution of genuine illicit material. You regulate the behavior, not the specific app used to execute it.
And for you, the parent or caregiver listening to this deep dive right now, what is one specific thing you can do today when you go home?
A critical question to ask your kids today isn't just the standard, what apps are you using or who are you talking to?
Right, kids tune that out anyway.
They really do. You need to ask behavioral, situational questions. Ask them, hey, if someone sent you a picture of your best friend doing something completely out of character or inappropriate, what would you do first?
Oh, that's really good. You're establishing a protocol for skepticism before the crisis actually happens. You're giving them permission to doubt what they see on a screen.
Yes, you are building their resilience. Because if you approach the topic of AI with hysteria, if you tell them the technology is pure evil and the internet is fundamentally broken, you alienate them.
Yeah, they'll just roll their eyes at you.
Exactly. Young people are natives to this digital landscape. If they see adults panicking and fundamentally misunderstanding the tools, they will not come to those adults when things go wrong.
That makes perfect sense, because if my kid knows I'm going to lose my mind and confiscate their phone the second an AI issue comes up, they're just going to hide the damage.
Absolutely. They'll suffer in silence.
But if we've had calm, reflective conversations about the power of these tools, if we've acknowledged that, hey, AI creates incredible opportunities for learning, for creativity, for future careers, they are much more likely to ask for help when they encounter the dark side of it.
And we have to acknowledge the positive.